I'm going to talk to you about the settings on a digital camera. As you may or may not know, digital cameras have lots of different settings. Some of you may not know what to do with these settings and you just like to simply point and shoot. That's fine and dandy, however, I'd like to go over some of the settings to help you take better pictures and hopefully benefit you down the road. Every camera, whether film or digital, has 4 essential camera settings. These are shutter release, film speeds, also known as ISO, shutter speeds, and apertures. When using digital cameras, you will notice that the electronics has erased the task of configuring these settings manually. Some settings may still require you to turn the dials, as in film cameras, but often for digital cameras you will just be pushing buttons on the camera's backs. Of course, photography is impossible without shutter releases. Shutter releases for digital cameras are still atop these cameras where they should be. Advanced models may or may not have additional releases on the bottoms of the battery compartments. Digital cameras do not require film, and they will always take colored pictures instead of black and white ones unless you change this in the settings. In digital cameras, internal memory and memory cards store the images, acting like the film in film cameras. If you fill up the internal memory, you will obviously not be allowed to take any other pictures. You'll get an error message, the camera might start flashing, you might hear some sounds, or just simply won't even make the click or flash. Don't get concerned. This doesn't mean that your camera is broken. You don't have to go shell out some money and buy a new camera. It should just mean that you should have a couple additional memory cards. I highly recommend this. It's useful for not having to make crucial decisions and delete important photos and have your wife not sleep with you for the next week. So it's better to have those extra cards and have them on hand so you can take additional pictures. I also recommend obviously putting the pictures onto your computer or external hard drive of some fashion so you can store all your digital files as you're no longer printing them out. If you are still printing them out with an at-home printer or a digital printer, or you go into a drugstore or a printing service to print out the pictures, I would still recommend keeping a backup of the file because you don't have negatives like you did with a film camera. Therefore, there's no way to go back and retrieve those pictures again once you delete them from the memory cards at the same time. This will help you instead of having to go back and forth with memory cards. It'll allow you to have more storage space and also take more pictures. Then you won't have to make crucial decisions right on the spot or have to switch a memory card and miss that really important picture that you were trying to take. You will determine film speed by adjusting the quality to best, better, good, also known as low, fine, super fine, etc. by using the camera's electronic menu, which is usually done by turning dials, or in some advanced cameras is actually done through a menu in the camera. You would press menu, go to settings, and then you could see the image quality settings, and there you can change it based on how much space you want each picture to take up. Obviously, if you go to super fine, each image is going to take up more space, or if you go down to lower settings, you're going to get more pictures on a smaller memory card, what have you. Cameras in the lower price range will allow you to set camera shutter speeds and apertures using dials atop them or some fashion. This is all electronic. Instead of numbers and fractions of seconds, such as 1/1000th, 1/500th, 1/250th, 1/60th, 1/30th, 1/8th, 1/4th, 1/2, 1, 2, 4, 8, and bulb. You will use tiny pictures that represent what you want to photograph, either auto, action running figure, portrait human figure, mountain or landscape photos, scenic photos, flower close-up photos, also known as macro, which will give you really fine details depending on the camera that you have, give you some really nice close-up pictures. In addition, all digital cameras have a movie camera icon on the dials that will allow you to take crude or HD video depending on the model that you have. It's important to note that not every single digital camera has a movie function, but usually most of them nowadays do. I just don't want to go out there and say that your camera does and it doesn't. So it's just one thing to check or look for when purchasing the digital camera, or check the one that you may already have at home. Some other settings that some cameras may have in their electronics menu or on top of them is setting a self-timer, so you can take those nice lovely self-portraits or family photos. You can do a live view, which will allow you to see a nice image of what you're going to take a picture of on an LCD, which is very useful if it's hard for you to see through the viewfinder, or you just like to hold the camera away from your face instead of getting up close and personal. They also have a quick view sometimes, and obviously, of course, zoom out and zoom in. In some advanced models, you'll actually have to turn the lens counterclockwise or clockwise to zoom in and out, depending on the camera that you have, where most of the more smaller consumer cameras, you just simply press tall or wide and it will go in and out. For some users, including yourself hopefully, This is very similar to menus at restaurants. All the different features and things that you can do with a digital camera that you couldn't do with film will hopefully stimulate your taste buds. I hope that I've covered enough for now in terms of the settings of the digital cameras. Obviously, I hope you stay tuned to the other videos, and we'll definitely go into more features. And our goal is to help you understand and take better photos. And if you have any questions or anything, just let us know.